I'm sitting in a cozy cafe in Prague at this moment, sipping on a coffee that's cheaper than a bottle of water costs where I come from. And I just finished listening to the wildest voicemail anyone's ever left me. But I need to rewind a bit, because this entire ordeal has been completely wild. I'm 38 now, and I've done all right for myself. I own a modest yet successful logistics business that I started from nothing over the last 10 years. Not wealthy, but secure. I paid off my house completely, zero debt, solid savings for retirement. The type of financial stability that apparently paints a target on your back. I met Jennifer roughly a year ago at a barbecue hosted by a mutual friend. She's 36, works in real estate sales, and has an 18-year-old son named Tyler from her earlier marriage. From the very beginning, I was upfront about my stance. I wasn't interested in becoming anyone's financial provider. I'd witnessed too many men get taken advantage of for their money, and I refused to let that happen to me. On our initial dates, I covered the bills. That's standard. But by the fourth date, I explained clearly that I preferred splitting costs fairly once we moved beyond the early stage. She appeared okay with it. She even said she valued a guy who viewed her as an equal. Perfect. The issue was this. Jennifer had a habit of portraying herself as completely independent and capable. Yet there were red flags. Minor things initially. She'd occasionally forget her purse. Her card would sometimes be declined, and she'd brush it off with a chuckle. She'd recommend high-end restaurants and then act shocked when the check arrived. I'm not naive. I picked up on it. But I addressed it firmly each time. When she forgot her wallet, I'd patiently wait while she drove home to retrieve it. When her card failed, I'd propose sharing a single starter until her bank resolved the issue. When she chose costly venues, I'd suggest more affordable alternatives. She quickly realized I wasn't the type to fall for those tricks. Around the 3-month mark, she casually brought up Tyler's upcoming college plans. Mentioned he'd been accepted to a public university starting in the fall. Congrats to him. Her ex-husband Derek was meant to cover the expenses according to their divorce settlement. At least that's what she claimed. I stated right then that Tyler's schooling was an issue for her, Tyler, and Derek. It had nothing to do with me. She agreed, said naturally, she totally got it. We continued seeing each other. Things were genuinely enjoyable when she wasn't attempting to tap into my funds. She was lively, appealing, and we shared strong connection. I encountered Tyler on several occasions. Solid young man, a little spoiled perhaps, but aren't most teens? I remained courteous but maintained boundaries. He wasn't my child, so no obligation to guide or support him financially. At about month 5, Jennifer began suggesting we live together. I rejected the idea. Far too early, and honestly, I cherished my personal space. She didn't press, which I admired. Then month 6 arrived, and her behavior changed noticeably. She started experiencing vehicle issues that required fixes. I suggested a reliable mechanic. She inquired if I could front the cost, and she'd reimburse me later. I declined. She grew frustrated, claiming she believed we were heading towards something meaningful. I reminded her that meaningful didn't equate to me serving as her backup plan financially. She handled her own repairs. A couple weeks after that, her water heater failed. She asked if I could assist with the replacement expense. Once more, no. I provided contact info for a financing option. She labeled me stingy. I replied that she was free to think that. The point is, I wasn't being miserly. I simply refused to establish a pattern where her money troubles became mine. I'd seen decent guys get drained dry by partners who viewed them as fixes rather than equals. Whenever I stood my ground, Jennifer would sulk for a day or two, then return as if nothing happened. I assumed she was adjusting to my limits. By month 7, the situation stabilized. No requests for cash, no subtle hints, zero pressure. We were simply enjoying a regular relationship. I began believing she had truly accepted my terms. That's when she raised the topic of marriage. We were dining at her apartment. Tyler was out with buddies. She asked where I envisioned us going long-term. I was honest. I enjoyed our dynamic, but I wasn't eager to alter it drastically. She confessed she was falling deeply for me. Wanted to know if the feeling was mutual. It was, surprisingly. Despite the repeated financial tests, I'd grown genuine affection for her over time. So I admitted yes, I could picture a long-term commitment. Possibly marriage eventually. She became emotional, joyful tears and all. It seemed authentic. That same evening, she circled back to Tyler's college matter. Explained that Derek had completely reneged. apparently lost his job and couldn't contribute anymore. She was stressed because the fall term was approaching and Tyler risked losing his acceptance without payment soon. I sympathized, then asked about her backup strategy. She mentioned exploring parent loans, but her credit was damaged from divorce-related complications. Asked for any suggestions for me. I recommended Tyler postpone for 1 semester, get a job, build savings, and begin in spring once finances were sorted, or start at community college for 2 years before transferring. Many viable routes. Jennifer went silent, said she'd consider them. I figured that closed the discussion. 2 days passed, and I returned home to find her waiting in my driveway. She used the spare key I'd provided for real emergencies. I questioned why she was there. She insisted we had to discuss something important. We entered the house. She had me sit and explained she'd reflected deeply, claimed that for a serious future, we needed to function as partners. Tyler's schooling mattered greatly and impacted our potential family unit. Then confirmed Derek had fully withdrawn support. I knew the direction this was taking. I asked outright what she expected from me. She stated the first-year tuition came to $40,000. Quickly added she wasn't demanding I cover everything. Just assist. Perhaps handle this year. She'd manage the remainder. I paused for a moment, then inquired if she was tying our relationship to me funding her son's education. She immediately denied it. Absolutely not. She merely felt that with marriage talks, these were shared challenges. I refused. Tyler wasn't my responsibility. His tuition wasn't my burden. And I wouldn't launch a marriage by shelling out $40,000 for another man's child. Loans were available. Deferral and work were options. But I wasn't among them. She became angry, said she assumed I truly cared. I affirmed I did. But caring didn't make me a wallet. She departed upset. Over the following days, my phone was flooded. Extended messages about sacrifices in relationships. That true love wouldn't make this debatable. That accepting her meant accepting Tyler fully, and rejecting help was rejecting her. I responded minimally, repeated that my stance remained firm. Then her approach shifted. She forwarded details on Tyler's major. How prestigious the university was. What a rare chance it represented. Included screenshots of Derek's messages verifying his refusal. Attempted to induce guilt. I did pity the young man, truly. Not as doing that his parents mishandled money. Yet it still wasn't my issue. During week 2 of this intense push, Jennifer appeared at my door again. This visit, she was composed. Claimed she'd been unreasonable. She respected my view. She was simply protective of her child and frantic. Stated she wouldn't request funds anymore. Then mentioned reconsidering my earlier marriage remark. Suggested perhaps we should proceed. Become engaged. Begin organizing a ceremony. Argued that since we'd form a family regardless, why delay? I grew wary, but was also taken aback. I'd been contemplating a proposal myself, perhaps near our 1-year anniversary. But there she was, gazing hopefully, discussing our shared future. I erred. I lowered my defenses. I didn't pop the question immediately. But in the week that followed, I genuinely waited. Browsed rings. Planned the moment. Jennifer reverted to being warm, loving, no financial mentions. It seemed we'd overcome the hurdle. 3 weeks on, I brought her to an elegant restaurant with a waterfront view. Ring secured in my pocket. I was incredibly anxious. Mid-meal, I knelt, full classic style. Asked her to become my wife. She accepted. Tears flowed. We embraced. The other patrons applauded. It was magical. Back at her home that night, she instantly dove into wedding ideas. Aimed for soon, perhaps 4 months away. Always dreamed of spring nuptials. I agreed. We'd dated nearly 10 months by then. The date would surpass a full year together. Felt appropriate. Then, offhandedly, she expressed relief at our engagement, as now Tyler's schooling could be resolved. I probed what she meant. She explained that being fiancés made us family essentially, and she trusted I'd step up for Tyler. The fall payment due date was roughly 6 weeks out, and she'd been anxious, but now it would be fine. I stared silently. Asked directly if she'd accepted solely because she assumed it guaranteed college funds. She chuckled. Denied it. Naturally, but noted engagement implied teamwork, and partners support one another. Added that $40,000 paled against lifelong expenses. Revealed she'd already informed Tyler the exciting update, that his future stepfather would ensure his enrollment. A chill ran through me. I asked precisely when she'd shared that. She admitted that afternoon, after my text suggesting she dress up. She'd suspected a proposal, so she knew. Prior to my question, she'd anticipated it. Assured her son I'd cover costs, then said yes with that assumption locked in. I questioned what if I'd proposed, but still refused payment. She turned defensive, insisted it wouldn't arise because I cared for her and Tyler. Accused me of overthinking. I rose, said I had to go. She attempted to halt me, urging discussion on the payment. I exited, drove home, sleepless, reviewed every encounter through the night. Each money request, each firm denial from me, each retreat followed by new tactics. This was merely the latest scheme, the most elaborate one. Morning came, she phoned, inquired if I'd reflected, asked about scheduling a bank visit for the tuition transfer. Deadline approaching. I invited her over. She arrived swiftly, beaming, likely convinced I'd relented. I returned the ring box, declared the engagement over. She appeared bewildered, sought clarification. I repeated it plainly. No marriage. The entire proposal felt engineered for Tyler's fees. And I refused. She broke down, wept, insisting I misunderstood. She loved me. Coincidence and timing. I posed the direct question. Would she have accepted if I'd explicitly ruled out payment beforehand? Her pause revealed all. She attempted damage control. Claimed yes, absolutely. But the damage was done. I instructed her to leave. She declined. Demanded resolution. Mentioned Tyler's reliance. I stated Tyler remained her responsibility. She branded me cruel. I gave her 10 minutes, or I'd involve police for trespassing. She stormed out, yelling about my awfulness. The ensuing days were chaotic. Endless texts, voicemails, emails, all echoing how I was destroying Tyler's prospects. How dare I? I'd committed. I blocked her contacts. Then her circle reached out, shared acquaintances, labeling me harsh, claiming I strung her along, punishing an innocent teen. I detailed the facts to those I valued. Most understood. A couple didn't. I distanced from them. Jennifer appeared at my office. Security removed her. She dispatched Tyler to my residence. I ignored the knocks. He shouted outside about promises his mom mentioned, losing his acceptance, me shattering his future. I sympathized with him. Sincerely. But his mother orchestrated it, and I refused involvement. 2 weeks post-cancellation, Jennifer emailed extensively, listed reasons to rethink, apologized for her approach, admitted she should have been straightforward, vowed this sole favor, no future asks, suggested delaying the wedding even. Just a Tyler. No reply from me. Next day, I executed a plan brewing since the split. I'd intended vacation time around holidays. Advanced it instead. Reserved a 3-month European adventure. Bookings for flights, hostels, rail passes, everything. Redirected funds earmarked for the wedding. Totaled around $45,000 after upgrading some stays. I shared one social media photo. Me at the terminal with a backpack. Simple caption, taking a break for myself. Back in 3 months. Location tagged as heading to London. Notifications surged. Jennifer bypassed blocks somehow. Dozens of voicemails. Friends messaged. Tyler raged in texts. I powered off my device, flew out, and stayed offline until arrival. That was 2 months back. I've traveled Europe ever since. London, Paris, Amsterdam, Berlin, now Prague. It's been transformative. Encountered fascinating individuals, witnessed stunning sights, savored delicious meals, and rarely dwelled on Jennifer's mess except during message checks. Which leads to now. In this cafe, on Wi-Fi after days without. Chose to review voicemail. Around 30 waiting. Mostly Jennifer, some friends, a pair from Tyler. Her latest, from yesterday, was utterly deranged. Sobbing uncontrollably, words jumbled. Explained the registrar revoked Tyler's admission due to unpaid tuition by deadline. He'd forfeited his place. Derek still refused aid. Loans fell through. She'd exhausted options. Blamed me entirely. Said I'd devastated her son's future. Then pleaded that if I returned and assisted, she'd agree to anything. Whatever terms. Prenup, separate accounts, all of it. Just enable Tyler's spring entry. I heard it fully. Then erased it. Blocked her email as well. The truth is, I feel no remorse. Ought I? Perhaps some would argue yes. But I don't. Tyler missing his start is unfortunate for him. Yet not my doing. It's the result of his mother scheming to extract funds from me rather than pursuing real fixes. His father evading obligations. Jennifer dedicating the past year to varied ploys for my money instead of genuine partnership. I offered opportunities. Each financial probe met clear refusal. Each boundary push met resistance. I never implied I'd fund Tyler. The proposal hinged only on authentic connection. She converted it to a deal, now facing repercussions of her actions. Tyler has alternatives: gap year, community college, employment, and saving. Routes exist without harassing an ex from abroad. Meanwhile, I'm in Prague, Vienna bound next week, then Croatia. 1 month left on this journey, maximizing every moment to recharge and clarify my desires. One certainty: upon return, no more partners viewing me as a fix for their issues rather than an individual. No tolerance for indirect coercion. No one-sided team guilt. Jennifer believed she was smart, thought persistent angles would succeed, assumed engagement would obligate me. Instead, she forfeited a caring companion, and I gained a 3-month European escape funded by resources she presumed accessible. I'd wish she gained insight. But truthfully, indifferent whether she does. That's her path. Mine features a Vienna train tomorrow and not a single regret.